What's up, everyone? My name's Robbie. This is Robbie in Manila, and today we're talking about my favorite type of fire. So if you've watched my channel before, I'm sure you know what FIRE stands for, and if you don't for some reason, it stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. So whether you're familiar with the FIRE movement or not, I think a lot of people don't realize that there's different types of FIRE. There's different ways or routes to get to financial independence and retire early. For example, there's traditional fire, there's fat fire, there's lean fire, there's coast fire, and there's barista fire. So of these different types of fire, I actually do have a favorite, and that's what we're going over today. So let's go ahead, let's run the intro, and let's get started. So before we move on, here's my question. What is your favorite type of fire? Leave it in the comment below. Let me know. I'm sharing. How about you share too? Okay, so here we go. My favorite type of fire is referred to as traditional barista fire. So I do have a caveat to this, and I'm going to be going over that kind of towards the end of the video. But first, let's go over what traditional barista fire is and then some of the math behind it. So the term traditional barista fire, I kind of made it up. So if you've never heard of it before, don't worry. I did make a video on the 5 different types of fire where I lay out all of my ideas. So take a look at that. I'll throw it right here or in the description below. So I define traditional barista fire as the following. So first, it's part traditional fire, which I define as being able to live on 70% of your income in retirement. So, if you think about that, if you make $100,000 a year, you have to live on $70,000 a year. If you make $50,000 a year, you have to live on $35,000 a year. And the second part of this is the barista fire. And so barista fire is basically a way of continuing to work in your retirement and save up so you only need as much as you would to have a part-time job when you're retired. So let's talk about why I like this, and then let's talk about the numbers. So in my opinion, when people retire early, they oftentimes don't stay retired 100%. They need a sense of worth, a sense of something to do with their lives. And, playing video games all day just isn't going to get you there. Or playing golf every single day just isn't going to get you there. At some point, as you're young still, you probably still want things to do with your life. And so having some type of part-time job or way to generate income is something that I think a lot of people who do end up doing fire want to do in retirement. And so what is this idea of having income when you're actually retired or at least financially independent? Well, it could be anything. It's called barista fire because a lot of people use the idea of becoming a barista at Starbucks or something like that because you can work kind of part-time, have decent benefits, get a lot of perks still, and, the job is probably kind of fun. Now, being a barista may not sound that interesting, but there's a lot of different jobs you might be interested in doing. I myself have done side gigs before that have ranged from being an Uber driver just on the weekends to doing live events and working for a company that set up events for corporations. I've also created a blog to try to make extra income. I have a YouTube channel, which obviously you know because you're watching it, and this has been created basically to make extra income. So income in retirement doesn't always have to be like you go to a physical job that you have to be there like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every single day during the week. It could be that you are an Uber driver, an Uber Eats driver. You could do your own thing where you have your own schedule and you make income during the year. What this basically allows is for you to get to financial independence. So basically, maybe you don't like your job, maybe you don't like where you are in this world, maybe you don't like going in every day to the same desk. Whatever it is, you can potentially get away from that and just go do something on your own and continue to essentially be retired for the rest of your life, but needing a little bit of extra income during the year. Okay, so let's talk about the numbers. Okay, these are the numbers, and quickly the assumptions that I used on this is, what if you're 25 years old, you want to retire in 15 years? Doesn't matter if you're 25, you can retire in any 15-year time period. These numbers are the same. I used an 8% rate of return, so this person would need to make 8% every year, so they need to invest their money in something like the stock market or something like that. Traditional fire would look like this. If you made $50,000 a year, you would need to replace 70% of your income. Now that means you need $35,000 per year in retirement using something called the 4% rule, which is basically a way of saying that if you take 4% out of an account for the rest of your life, you theoretically won't run out of money. Now, some people think a 3.5% rule is more prudent for this. That would just make all the numbers go up more if you did a 3.5%, but I'm doing 4%. And then $875,000 is what someone would need to save up to be able to live on to make this $35,000 a year at 4%. So the question is, what happens when instead of traditional fire, you do traditional barista fire? So what it does, you'll see here, is everything else is the same. Income is the same. The amount that they need in retirement is the same. The thing that changes is the amount of money that you need to save up, which ends up going from $875,000 total to $611,000, which is a huge difference. So basically, traditional barista fire allows people to save less money but still get to the point where they're getting to fire. So either reaching just financial independence, or you could think of it like you're retiring early, just getting a part-time job. Let's look next at what this looks like and like kind of how it works. So traditional fire, you would need to save $2,450 every single month, and that's 61% of your income. And so to me, there gets a point where it gets too high of an income for the general population to save. 61% to me is too high for the majority of people watching this to accomplish. Some people can do it, absolutely. I don't think a lot of people can, which is why I don't love to use traditional fire for everyone. I would like to basically have it less than 50% of your income that you have to save to get there. You need to save $30,000 annually, and the same thing we talked about here, the 4% rule. Look at traditional barista fire. So you only need to save $1,729 instead of $2,540 per month. So you only need to save 41% of your income instead of 61%. To me, people can accomplish 41% savings rates. I know it's also hard, but it's easier than a 61% because I really don't think once you get over 50%, it's that easy for the general population to ever accomplish. Now, you watch any fire YouTube channel, fire bloggers, they're going to probably tell you that getting over 50% is what everyone needs to do. In my opinion, it's just not the case. I don't think it's something that most people can do. This looks like this. Once you get to this 35,000 number, so this person who did traditional barista fire has 611,000. The way that they're able to still have 35,000 in retirement income is because they take 24,440 out of their portfolio, which is 4% of this number, and then they go out and they have a part-time job where they make the extra $10,056. So essentially, you're not taking all of the money out of your portfolio, you're taking a portion, you're taking the 4% out still on a lower number, and then you're just making up the rest by having some type of part-time job. $10,560 per year is not that much money to try to make during the year. You know, it's less than $1,000 extra a month. I think a lot of people can accomplish that and still feel like they're probably not working. Okay, so that was traditional barista fire, why I like it, but I did say that there was a caveat, and this is the caveat. So here we have a spreadsheet that shows traditional fire on the left and barista fire on the right. Everything else is the same as I just showed you. The person's making $50,000 a year. They need to replace 70% of their income, which is $35,000. It's all the same. So what I want to show you here is the caveat, which is if someone makes higher income, barista fire doesn't really work that well. I'm going to show you here increasing the amount of money this person makes from $50,000 to $150,000 a year. And so everything's the same percentage. They still need 70% of their income. It equals $105,000. And it's still 63% is what they're going to end up needing to save during the year. Now, if we do this to the traditional barista fire part, this is where things get weird. You have to save more money if you make the same amount in your post-retirement, in your retirement, basically. And so why is that? It's because, you know, if you're retiring and you're going to make a little bit extra money, you can't work like full-time. You just want to work part-time. So there's a limit to how much money that you're going to end up bringing in during the year. you don't want to go and make $30,000 a year by like doing like a lot of work, working like a full-time job that doesn't pay as well. You just want a part-time job that you can have a little bit extra income, right? So we can't change this, the extra income, the like, I put latte income, but like the barista income, you can't increase that, right? You don't want to increase that. So you keep that the same, which means that you end up having to save more money. And you need to save more money so that you can take out money for retirement out of your retirement accounts and not from the amount of money that you're making by working. I hope that makes sense. Traditional Barista Fire doesn't work very well if you make lots of money. And so real quick, just to see like, what's this look like with $100,000? So if you make $100,000 Traditional Barista Fire, you're still above 53% that you're gonna need to save. And so to me, I don't think many people are gonna wanna do that. I would say 75% of your income is where it kind of gets like something that you would maybe want to do. So I said 75% of your income. I meant to say $75,000 a year in income is where it might make sense, because now you're getting kind of under that 50% that you need to save of your income every year. Thanks for watching, everyone. That's all we have for today. So that is my favorite type of fire, and the caveat between that one. So between those two, if you make lots of money, I do think traditional fire would be the way to go. If you don't make quite as much, let's say $75,000 or less, I do think that traditional barista fire is a good way to go. So again, let me know in the comments below what your favorite type of fire is, and don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see future content like this. Also, got another video coming up on the end screen. You should probably watch that right now.